The Conversation with your girl, Miss Y. Tonight, I'm sitting down and talking to the beautiful, the talented Lady Lavish. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Hello,
good.
everyone.
I'm so happy that you're here to launch this show with me and to share your story.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So overdue.
Thank you. It's been a long time.
It has been.
It's been a long time.
It's time.
And it's time. And so I was putting my lineup together, and I'm so thankful for everyone that's going to allow me to have a conversation with them. But I thought of you instantly because your story is phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that as someone that was there, but just overall, like you survived something kind of major.
Yeah.
And so tonight you're going to learn a little bit about her, and I hope you're ready for that. So it's time. Let's have a conversation.
Let's do it.
You know what? I think I need a bell so I can go ding.
Me with the bell.
So tell everybody, first of all, what it is you do.
Well, currently, I am a manager, specialty sales manager. Been at my job for about 6 years. Love what I do. Love my employees. I'm in the cell phone business. I have been. So I get the hookup. Yeah, I have been having the hookup for years. Also, recently, decided to go back to school. It is never too late.
Awesome.
And I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. I made excuses like, no, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. And I got a 4.0 right now,
Come
you
on,
know.
4.0, yes.
4.0 right
Yes,
now.
honey.
I was able to manage with, you know, my career, my employees, other things that I'm doing, other business ventures I'm trying to get into, and, you know, was still able to make it work. It is not a lot, and there's nothing wrong with starting over at any time and investing in yourself. So I push anyone to do that if they're thinking about it. But it's working, and I'm happy.
Awesome.
Get my business degree. You know.
Awesome. So hey, we got some support in the building. So tell us, who is Lady Lavish? Because you're talking about cell phones and school.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lady Lavish, that's my alter ego.
Okay.
She is take demand, take charge, ownership of any room she steps in. Near woman in this universe can alter her strut in any type of way. Music, of course, stages started a long time ago, which we can get into that a little later. But, you know, rapper. Of course, I had this. You know, I've never been super conceited, but it is what it is. You know, I'm one of those. You know.
I
Yeah.
can't.
But
it's too much.
with that being said, you know, coming into a male-dominated industry
Yeah.
and being affiliated with, you know, Yellow Boy and, you know, other artists who were being played on the radio, and me being a woman, it's like I came out hard. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to do my Chanel purse and, you know, Britney pop, none of that. You know, I came hard because I wanted them to take me seriously.
Yeah.
Because they saw this and it was, you know, trying to get my number, trying to do this and do that. So I'm like, okay, let me show them this other side of me so they know to step to me correctly and don't get out of line. And it worked. It definitely worked. Came out probably, tell them my age, but like 05?
Okay.
05, yeah. Been
Okay.
rocking since 05.
Okay.
And my first show that I did, it was just an open mic.
Mhm.
Sir Hart. Shout out to Sir Hart.
Shout out
Free
Sir
Sir Hart. Ugh.
It's my nephew.
Yeah.
I love him so much, but that's a different story. He gave me one of my first opportunities. Also, Jeff as well. He actually helped me come up with my name, Lady Lavish, because there was some crazy names out there. I could have been Champagne or whatever ridiculous names came to light, but Lady Lavish came from Jeff, so right on. But Hart gave me an opportunity. Had a beat studio session. Trees, who's he's affiliated with St. James, Matt Sims, you know, all would stop beef and start eating. They had like open mic shows, and back in the day, the government, that was the spot.
Yeah,
it was popping, and if you wasn't popping, then you got booed, and we never saw you again. You know, so it was really truly about talent back then. And I'll be honest, like when I jumped into that open mic, I only had one song.
Yeah.
Just one. They didn't know it though, because, you know, my best friend at the time, Coco, we're Star Quest dancers, you know, we model, we do runway shows, so the stage is nothing new to us, and the music was just something else to add to, you know, our resume, but we killed it. We killed that first show, and my first song was called Fans. Stands for fake ass.
Wow.
And I was
That's
really
so surprising.
I was going in.
Yeah.
I was going in on the fellas on that. I'm like, oh, I was so nervous. Like, oh, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna say?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they still gonna want to holler. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it is some suckers out there, you know. Just if it offends you, then it was for you, you know.
So let's go back. Before Lavish made it to the government, before she had songs like Blank Hold My Purse, I'll just say that. Tell me about your upbringing, your childhood, some of the experiences that you've had in your past that helped mold you to become who you are today.
I was very lucky, extremely lucky. I came from a Cosby-like lifestyle. I would be Rudy, you know, the youngest of three. And I have an older brother, older sister, 10 years apart, 5 years apart. And, you know, I had both of my parents. You know, my parents have been married. They're still married, you know, just celebrated, you know, anniversary in December. And, you know, my dad was always there. You know, he wasn't, there's other people that dealt with situations where, you know, they're separate homes or, you know, weekend dads or absent fathers. And I did not have that. Like, my daddy was really in the court shooting them jumpers with me, you know. And my mom was very supportive of everything that I did. My dad, of course, being the provider and working for Allison's, he traveled quite a bit. So, like, my track meets, my basketball games, the pageants, whatever little Larissa was doing, my mom was always there. She was there. And then my dad, you know, he's available, he's there too. But very good upbringing, you know, morals, values, goals, ambitions, standards. Watch your mouth or I'll slap you into the middle of next week. Keep your tone down, you know. Get up Sunday, clean up once you hear the music. That's why I love that old school music. Because once we heard that on Sundays, it's like, you better get up before they come get you up.
Right.
And
you know what time it is. Yeah.
Sure.
Me and the boys still clean on Sundays. That's my cleaning day. So I totally get it. So, two-parent home, great upbringing, sweet parents. I can vouch for them, especially your mom. She is a sweetheart. Love her.
That's my baby.
How was Lavish born? Because Lavish is kind of like spicy guttish. So where did she come from?
You know what? I gotta give some of that to my mom because I was such a tomboy. Growing up, I hung with boys. All I did was hoop with boys, fight with boys, play football every day. Yeah. And it got to a point where, and everybody called me Little Carmen. You know, I was a cute little girl, but it's like, I don't want to wear the dresses. I want, you know, the basketball shorts, cut off t-shirts, my Jordans, or, you know, Felines back then because I like Grant Hill. But she just was trying to bring out her little princess, what she saw that I didn't. Because I was like, no, I want to go hoop. It's a championship going on. And
I don't want to hear what you're talking about.
I ain't trying to wear my coat outside. Like, how am I going to move around? But she just kind of pressured me. And it bothered me when I was younger because it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I would talk to my dad like, man, will you tell her to go on somewhere?
Right.
I don't want dolls. I don't want paper dolls. I want some G.I. Joes and a He-Man, you know, like little boy stuff. So when I turned 15, her wish for her birthday was for me to go to Glamour Shots and get glammed up and take these pictures. A one-time thing, I promise.
The cloud.
I won't bother you anymore. Okay. I'll go ahead and do this. Let's do it. I did it. And, you know, those people are supposed to take maybe 100 photos. They took like over 400. Apparently, I'm photogenic. Didn't know that. And when my parents came to pick me up, it was that much of a transformation to where they just walked past me. Like, I was a lady, you know? Not the little boy, I was a lady. Yeah. And even when I got back home, you know, went across the street, put on my basketball shorts and whatnot, and then my homies is looking at me like, hey. And I'm like, extra checking, and don't do that. Yeah. So, with that, you know, the glamour shots thing, and then of course they submitted my photo for some competition, which I ended up winning against other malls in other states, and had my big old picture of me on the wall. And after that, my mom was like, "That's it, you're modeling, you're doing this, you're doing that." And I'm like,
oh, so she brought Lavish out. Thanks, Mom.
Not necessarily Lavish, because Lavish didn't come yet, but
she brought the lady out.
The lady out.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yes.
And, you know, got me into this little program with, like, grooming, showing me how to walk, and the proper stance, the 8-count turns, and, you know, the different poses and whatnot. And I enjoyed some of it, you know. It was cool because I was learning some things and whatnot, but I still just wanted to go hoop with my dudes when I got to the crib, like, whatever. Right. And, you know, got with Helen Wells and Christy of Chicago, a couple of modeling agents.
Yes!
Hey, Helen Wells, 5 years old. I made my first $100 just swinging on the swing at the park for an after-school special. And I bought my first bike by myself. So,
come
on, shout out to Helen Wells.
You
got some kids out there 5 and up that is star quality or cuteness, bundle of it. Hit up Helen Wells.
Oh my God.
They're great for children and development and all of that.
I haven't heard that before. I did that as well. That is funny.
Yeah.
So
and then she got me in the pageants.
Yes. Okay.
Miss Indiana Teen Pageant. And
how was that? Because that was a transition, right? From the
I freaking hated
basketball to the pageant.
I hated it. I did. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I met some great people. It was some nice experiences meeting the, you know, friends or whatnot. But like, the girls are so catty. Yeah. They are vindictive, and it's like, I fight boys. So if you think that you about to mess with my attire and nothing happened, you know, it's a problem. And not eating celery. No, I want some pizza. You know,
that is your favorite.
It's absolutely still. My, so I would sneak off and eat cupcakes and pizza. You know, and all of that. But as much as I would try to sabotage stuff, I kept winning. I kept winning stuff, like trophies half my height, and she just continued. That's it. So I mean, that's my mama. I'm following her lead. But when it was done, back to my reality, which was a tomboy.
So when did you learn? Okay, not only am I good looking, I can do well in the presence of a camera or people, but I have talent. I can flow. Like, when did that come? Because that's not something everybody can do. So when did we pick up on that?
Gosh, that was after I'd been to college. Like, Lavish didn't come out until, like I said, around 2005. And I had been playing basketball, running track, doing the modeling, runway, dancing, not exotic, Star Quest. Feature presentation was our group. We used to battle against Example all the time. They was other main attraction type groups or whatever. But I just, being on that, the grooming that I did, even though I used to be on my mom so hard about, oh, why are you making me do this? I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. The development prepared me for all of this other stuff to come, which I didn't know. Like, you know, when you see those TV shows like Where Are They Now? And they're going back and it was like, oh, well, you know, they went to this performing arts school and they did this and did that. It's like, well, in my own way, like, I did that too, through her pushing me to do these different things. And really, Lady Lavish, how she came about, my sister Brandy, shout out to Brandy, and my cousin Devin, during this one summer, we stayed on 38th and Dearborn. 38th Street was popping back then, y'all know that. We'll sit out on the porch. And that summer, every single one of us was going through something with our dude. Every single one of us. And I'm like, so we would just sit around, you know, smoke, drink, talk, like, and just be freestyling, playing, and it starts sounding kind of good. You know, I'm like,
come on, talent.
Hey, that sounded kind of good. You know, and I found out then that I was really good at, you know, writing hooks or whatever, having ideas for it. Yella's still the king hook man. You know, I go to him like, does this sound good? You know, but back then, and then it got to the point like, okay, well, we're going to do this. I booked a studio session. I got us a beat. Let's go to the studio. And they were like, no, that's all you. And so I just did it. I was like, okay, well, I'm about to go see what it do. I want to see what this sound like because I like it.
So you became the only female of the crew to get it going.
Yeah.
I met you in what year? Do you know?
No. It's been years ago. I can't remember.
Ben was a baby.
He was.
Yeah. So
like baby.
Baby. So he's 9, about to be 10.
Yeah.
So it was some years ago. What I loved about you is I think a lot of times pretty women or women of a certain stature or status, they can be labeled a certain way, true, yes?
Yep.
But sometimes they do act like that. And I didn't get that with you. Like instantly, I remember we were at, what was the name of that facility? What was the name of that?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Is this one you?
Was it Don Vix?
Don Vix.
So listen, I don't even know.
Used to be popping.
I don't even know why I was in Don Vix because that is not me. But listen, I was there.
You were networking.
I was.
It was a showcase.
It was a showcase.
And you were networking.
I was networking. I think I was still with 625 then. Shout out to them. And you were doing your thing, and I think I noticed you cut your curly hair because you know I have curly hair. And I was like, oh my god! And I know it's just so petty. But anyway,
I remember that.
And then we met, and it was just like an instant. I like you, like I like you, and it was just instant. And that's one thing that I do love about you because a lot of women struggle with that, just getting along and just being pleasant, and that's all in your head. It's totally up to you. So this is a person that from there, because we got so deep, she had me doing like backup stuff on stages. I don't even do that kind of stuff, okay? Let's just put that out there. But she was doing her thing, and I was two-stepping behind her, and it was just helping hype her up.
And it was fabulous.
It was fabulous. It was so fabulous. That was so not me. It was not. But we had a ball doing that. And anywhere we went, we kind of, you know, stopped the scene for a little bit. And I remember that.
And I remember a few dudes being extra trying to get at you. And I'm like, hey, that's my girl. Don't do that. Because they know who I am. Like, oh, she might get on the mic. She might embarrass me because I may. I may.
Yeah.
But don't do that.
Yeah.
And she just tickled pink about it. I'm like,
cracked up. So life went on for Lavish. And I've been here to watch this roller coaster now. Right?
Yes. Definitely been roller coaster.
And so you were performing, you were all over. I remember at one point, I couldn't keep up with your shows and mine. I'm like, look, we're going to have to figure this schedule out because I'm tired. But
conference calls.
Yes. But you continued on, and then you met a great love.
I did.
Let me tell you about him and how he made me feel. Let me just say this. Okay, because you know when your sister friend, one of your best friends, is being loved properly and when they're not.
Yep.
And so prior to this, I heard about the skeezers. I'm just going to call them skeezers. I think men can be skeezers too. So we're just going to put that out there.
Absolutely, right off.
You know, and I heard about them and I watched different scenarios and it didn't. But there was something about him that just did something to you. His presence was just amazing, and it did something for you. Tell them who he is and where you met him.
Well, it's my little biscuit baby, my little moist butt. Everybody knows him as CB. Or Chris Brown, or Chris Dale, depending on who you are, what the scenario may be. But he was our Charlie Brown. And I met CB at, Lord, they done changed their name so much. Cloud9?
Oh, okay.
Limelight, what? Who
Sweet
are they
38
right
now, I think. Or did they change it again?
It was Sweet 38, and then
it was Cloud9 when you met.
Cloud9.
Okay. It was Cloud9 when you met.
Yeah, Cloud9. And when I met him, you know, I was out with Paris and Trina, I believe, was with us that night. Hairstylist Trina, shout out to her. She's dope. And of course, y'all know Paris. And I was actually being on some ratchet stuff.
Oh, God.
That
ain't even you.
It's not me at all, but there was this song that was on, and, you know, I had a few drinks, so I was feeling myself. We're up in, you know, the little VIP section, little private bar area. And so nobody was around but them. And, like, you know, girls or whatever might tap your ass or something, you know, twerk in front of you, whatever. And I did that. And I had my leg on the bar. Just one. I wasn't doing it like that. But just one, you know, just twerking, doing my thing like, and then turned around and was like, ooh. And then I slid it off real slow because I'm like, elbowing Paris, like, why didn't you tell me he was watching me or he looking, you know?
Right.
So I immediately was embarrassed, you know, so I'm just trying to play it off. And he looking at me, I'm looking at him. And we stood around, you know, for another 5 minutes or so.
Looking at each other.
Right. And then he never approached me, so I was like, okay, we to the beach. Like,
Right.
'cause I'm not going to approach no guy.
Right.
Like, where do they do that at?
Right. It's not what we do.
Not at all. But, you know, he wasn't into social networks or none of that. Didn't have none of his pages. But he would be on a friend's page quite a bit. And later on that night, he ended up seeing me, I guess, you know, because we was posting pictures and videos through this friend's page and was in the inbox. Like, I see you tonight, shorty, you was turned up in there, blah, blah. You know, can I get to know you? And
Can I elaborate real quick?
Yeah. Him down there.
I had the pleasure, that was my brother, and I had the honor of watching my brother fall in love. And it was beautiful, just seeing him, the excitement, the joy, I found the one. And he wasn't the goofy kind of, that was not him at all. Like, there would be girls some girl knocked on my door and she was like, is Chris here? I'm like, Chris who? She's like, Chris Brown. I'm like, they're like, no. But I had the honor of watching him fall in love with his lady. And that's who she is to us. She's a lady.
How long did you guys date?
We were together a little over a year. Yeah.
And so in that year, what did you experience? I know you traveled.
Yes. Did travel. He went everywhere with me. Like, it was special because, you know, when you're trying to fall in love everybody wants that true love, you know. Everybody wants that soulmate type of feeling, but in order to get to that level, you have to be completely open.
Yes.
And that leaves you vulnerable to be hurt, you know, like spirits crushed, annihilated, the whole nine. And because we're just naturally guarded people, you know, like it can take time, longer periods of times for others. But in our situation, it was reciprocated on both ends. So
you guys were everywhere together all the time.
Like we went everywhere together, you know. I'm a very confident person. Mm-hmm. I always said I need someone as confident as I am or more to deal with all I have going on in this, which I don't pay attention to. But he wasn't fazed or intimidated by the groupies, the fans, no, none of that. You know, like supported my dreams, businesses. We talked about, you know, business ventures together. We didn't have locks on our cell phones. Yeah. You know, like...
I had never seen you that open, that happy, that genuinely free with someone. Because it's a difference between being in a relationship or being with someone and being free. You can be yourself, your full self. Mm-hmm. You can wear your J's, you can wear your house shoes, you can wear your stilettos, you can wear whatever, and they accept it all. And that's what I loved about him. Just the fact that you guys were thick as thieves and it was genuine. You didn't get tired of each other. Mm-mm. It was beautiful.
It's like every time he was coming and going, it was always 5 kisses. I don't care if he came in the house, you know, 4, 5 times. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't let me miss a one. Don't try and give me 3 or 4. Or if I even do it, like he gonna call it out, I'm gonna call it out. But we just couldn't get enough of each other, you know. Like it was perfect. He was perfect for me. Perfect.
Sometimes in our lives we experience magic and perfectness, if that's a word, and pure excitement and joy. And sometimes those feelings are short-lived. In this story, Lady Lavish found the love of her life, but it was short-lived. I remember, I think I had just got out the air from doing something. I was taking a break, and I was kind of tired, and I received a DM that changed my life. And instantly, I got into gear, and I got to you. Please tell me about that day. And
who DM'd you?
Your mom. Mama Carmen. Mama Carmen.
It's because she knows. She knows who my people are.
She needs you now. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you are. But I need you to get to her. And that's what I did. Walk us through that day.
The day before.
January 29th, 2016. Well, the day before, actually, was so beautiful. Like, the best thing I could have possibly had. All of us had, like, it was me and, you know, his sis Tiff, my sis, his nephew Dre, like, and we're up, like, in the wee hours of the morning, like, talking, laughing. I mean, laughing so hard to where our stomach hurts.
Yeah.
We, you know, falling off over the floor, you know, smoking, drinking, just having a great time, enjoying each other. And it was just, it doesn't even, I mean, looking back now, it didn't even seem real.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just, it was perfect. It was just us, and like, we shared stories. We, you know, it was like an adult sleepover.
Yeah.
And we did end up staying over at sis' house that night together. But it was just,
nobody sleeps in my bed but me. But that's how magical they were.
Yeah.
That's my sister.
And so, I mean, going into the next day was going to be difficult for me. That day was already going to be difficult for me because I was burying, you know, one of my favorite uncles, my Uncle Kenny. He passed away from cancer. And I remember, babe, being in the bathroom and me just, you know, going back from room to room trying to figure out, you know, what I'm going to wear. And he's on the toilet, for one. And that was something else that was open with us. Like, I could be using the bathroom, doing whatever. He'll just bust in, oh, baby, using the bathroom? Obviously. I'm not studying to be an astronaut, and please get out, you know? But he wouldn't care. He'll just pop on a sink or tub or whatever and just sit there and talk. Like, he just didn't care. So, as he's on the toilet, just, you know, pushes the door open like, babe, do you need me today? You know, I'll cancel everything that's going on with me. I'll be there if you need. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need you. You know, come with me to the funeral. And we end up going to the funeral. And, you know, we're sitting in the same queue with my father, my mom, my sister. So him and my sister are sitting next to each other, and I'm on the opposite side, and they're cutting up. First off, his cell phone rang a couple times, and I'm looking at him like, put it on vibrate.
Right.
And, you know, him and my sister was laughing, joking. So my mom, I'm sitting close to her, and she's popping me, thinking it's me. I'm like, no, it's them. I'm perfect. I'm innocent. I'm an innocent child.
I'm done.
But it was great. I could just hear him talking, you know, to my sister. She was like, oh, brother-in-law. He was like, yeah, it'll probably be quicker than you think before the year out. And I'm just trying to ear hustle, like, what y'all talking about? Okay. And he was there. He was supportive. And I just got to a point where I was like, you know, I had just lost my grandmother before I met him. Yes. I lost my Big Daddy Kane. Everybody knows my dog. My dogs. Oh my God, Kane was my everything. So it's like, I didn't have it in me to go to the repast and like see him being lowered in the ground. Like, I couldn't do it. I had a headache. So he was so sweet. He was like, you know, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take you home. You take a nap, and I'm gonna go and get the car wash for you. I'm gonna go and get the oil change. You know, I'll drop the clothes off at the cleaner. Like, this is the man that he was. Like, I didn't have to ask. You know, he cooked for me. He would
Yeah.
have baths ran for me when I got home. You know, wine already in the glass. Like, screw whatever day you had it. Let Daddy make it better. Okay.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I was just cheesing. And I was like, okay, that's a great idea. Let's do that. And I went home, you know. Supposed to be taking a nap, but then I called his sister, you know, we talked, Tiff, for probably about an hour, maybe. And then I did finally end up going to sleep. And ended up getting a phone call. That he had been shot. And just to meet at the hospital, which wasn't that far. You know, I stayed 46 in Eagle Creek. He's at the Westview. That's like by Guyam. So I just remember running out. Don't even have my shirt on. You know, just buttoning up as I go to get there. And I'm like, he's strong. He'll make it. He'll be fine. And that whole experience was just, it was so bad. Bad on every level. It was bad enough what we had to deal with, him being gone, but the backlash, things that followed after, even how we were informed, you know, that he had passed. It was cruel, it was vindictive, it was hard. And I appreciate anybody asks me what my best asset is. It's like, I don't mention my looks, I don't mention my hair, my style, my intelligence is my strength, you know, because I feel like all what we went through wasn't for the weak. Somebody else could have easily folded. And I remember there's a lot of things that I've mentally blocked out,
Yes.
you know, but I remember bits and pieces, you know, some people that were there. I remember approaching, you know, the hospital, seeing a car and the yellow tape, and the nurses were wonderful, absolutely wonderful. They were prayerful, you know, bringing water, you know, just coming to check on us, you know, every so often. And I remember my cell phone had died. Like, people were blowing me up, and like, how did they even know?
Yeah.
Like, because you forget like who you are. I forget sometimes like who I am, Lady Lavish, you know. But you know, people were hitting me up, and people were starting to show up, and here comes this smug doctor. I'll never forget. And it bothered me. It still bothers me to this day, because not only was she a woman, Dr. Wilson, she was a black woman. And although her, you know, the nurses and receptionists were, you know, like I said, very supportive and prayerful, I just remember her, you know, pulling me and his sister and her aunt that was there at the time into the room, like, and I'm thinking, okay, we can finally see him, he's okay. And she just kind of like blocked us in this room, you know, like, and you know, just had her back against the door, and she was like, you guys need to tell me, you know, what's going on or what happened, because the police are outside and they want to talk to you. That boy's dead. Like, he's dead. Like, that's how I was told, you know. Like, wasn't no chaplain, wasn't no prayer. Like, what is the procedure, you know? And that was hurtful. And I'm so thankful. Like, I don't know what I could have did in that moment had I not been across the room, being consoled by, you know, a woman more heavyset than I am, who was able to hold me and control me. It's like, I could have choked the life out of this woman, you know, like, just saying it like that. And then she went on, like, you know, it was a gunshot wound to the groin. We couldn't stop the bleeding because he got shot once in the groin, but it hit that major artery. And even though we got to the hospital 6 minutes, you know, it was very close. Like it wasn't enough. And just heard how smug and cruel and empathetic she was, you know, like, and then she kept like gesturing her fingers, like when she's trying to explain, like, he got shot in the groin, like right there. And I've had 3 gunshot victims, and you know, they've all like, well, he didn't, but you know, the other one survives. Like, lady, like, seriously,
right,
like, really? And then everything is just kind of a blur after that. I remember you know, them saying I need to give a statement and everything else, but it's like, I want to see him. He needs to know that I'm here. He doesn't like being alone. And they kept telling me, like, okay, well, at that night, that particular night, like, there was 3 other homicides that it took place. So the detective was at those scenes, so he couldn't come to us. You know, we had to go downtown. And I'm like, I'm not talking to him until I see him. And they told me, you know, just go do the statement, you'll be able to see him, blah, blah, which was all a big cap finesse just to get me there, whatever. So we get there, we do the statement or whatever, tell them, you know, as much as I know, it's like I wasn't there, like, I don't know, like, and hello, I don't even want to talk right now, like, can we speed this up so I can get to him? And long story short, ended up getting back to the hospital, and he was already gone. And
what did you learn about your support when this happened?
Everyone that was truly, truly there are my sisters. My sister, my big sister Nikki, like, cradled me in the back seat like a baby. I remember you just, I don't know, it seemed like you just fell out of thin air. Because I remember you being there. And I think it was when we came back, you know, so I could see him and them telling me, like, no, he's gone. He's gone already. And I remember just being on the ground. It's like, I don't know if I screamed or what, but it's like, the person helping me up was you. It's like, I don't know where you came from. I didn't call you. I didn't get a chance to. It was Sula did, you know? Nor did I have the breath to even say anything to anybody on the phone, but that meant the world to me. If I never told you, it did. And of course, you know, Tiff, his sis, you know, was there.
Yes, she was.
Consistently, she's like, you know, the mama bear of the crew. Pepper Rodriguez, you know, keep the round table in order, but like, she's mama bear. She made sure all of us was good. She made sure that I ate, because I wasn't. And there was this, I mean, I got a lot of outpouring support from social media. Like, I couldn't keep my phone charged.
Yeah, I remember that.
In a day. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, it was impossible. From Snapchat to Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like, people were just hitting me
I had
from
even
all
taken it at
over
a
the
point,
place.
though. Because when you're going through that, you're in your moment.
Yeah.
You know? And so you appreciate people reaching out, but you're in a moment.
Yeah.
And you needed that. I will say, the look on your face, it was like, it was just cringing. I just couldn't leave you. I remember for days being there and just so worried about you, because I knew what he meant to you and I knew what you meant to him. And to be robbed like that so instantly had to be the hardest thing you've ever experienced.
It was. That is definitely, I thought losing my Grammy, my little lady, losing her, like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's nothing that can surpass this. Of course, I'm going to be devastated if something ever happens to my mommy or my daddy. But, like, my Grammy? Oh. And that's what's crazy because it was like, I met him right after that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, here you are, little angel in disguise, you know, like, how did you get here? I don't allow people around me. It's like, what are you doing? You know? But he made everything better. He made everything better. We used to drink coffee in the morning and talk about stuff, you know, like, do our own little, you know, things or whatnot, but, like, he was just always there.
But he didn't only make things better in life. Because I remember when he passed, things he was doing.
Oh, Lord.
To make you okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you calling me, like, sis. So this happened today. You know, and at first I was like, sis. Like, you know. But until you experience a loved one that close that's passed, and you start seeing some of that, you don't understand. I understand it now.
Right.
I didn't understand it then.
Tell them about our little empath.
I'll be honest that I know that there's an afterlife. You know, I'm a child of God. I believe in God. You know, grew up that way. And although I don't go to church as much, you know, as I would like, I still have my faith. And even though I was consumed with anger, like so much anger, which is not me, because, you know, I'm usually bubbly, happy, smiling, you know, but I just was so angry, so extremely angry and consumed by that, but I never lost my faith.
Right.
I never asked God why, you know, because I know it's God's will, but I also didn't talk to God for a long time because I was angry.
Let me ask you, you made it very clear to me that you felt like, let me say this lightly, let me watch what I'm saying, okay? That you felt like you knew the involvement behind his death. Mm-hmm. You knew the parties that potentially could have killed him.
Yeah.
Why do you think, and let me ask you, is the case solved now?
No.
Why do you think that is? If you could figure it out, why couldn't they? Or did they talk to you? Were they interested?
Oh, Craig Hill. I feel like because of this scenario and how it happened, they just figured, like, you know, oh, drug deal gone bad. Oh, he must have been a bad element. No, not realizing, like, no, he takes care of his family. He's in the house by 10 p.m. every night. He cooks me dinner, you know, like, he's getting ready to start a legitimate business, family business, you know, with all of us. So, and I know that man I'll probably make him cringe, you know, because I stay on him. It's like, I watch shows like First 48. It's one of my fave, you know, the ID channel. Like, I be on it. You see, I don't really care too much for, you know, law enforcement.
Okay.
Especially on being one, but I would be an excellent detective, you know, whether it be FBI or whatever. And I think because, I mean, this is the love of my life. I want justice for him. I want someone to pay, you know.
Yeah.
I was on it, and then I mean, like, I was all I was consumed with. I couldn't sleep, and like, and I can laugh about this now, but back then, you know, when everything was happening, like, there was so many people coming in and out of my home, like so many people, and you know, having to maintain my, you know, my emotions when some of his family who wasn't fully aware of how serious we were coming in and trying to take this and take that. And it was like, they were more so concerned about materialistic things instead of like who he was. And he had already kind of given me a description of how his family was.
So he prepared you.
Yes.
Okay.
And And with that, you know, seeing him, like, he really didn't fool with him like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was always with mine, you
Yeah.
know, like, and I would still push forgiveness on him.
Yeah.
You know, I would still push respect on him, you know, towards his mother. And it's like, because that's how I'm raised,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and I always thought that he kind of over-exaggerated, like, no family's that bad. But, ooh-wee.
Yeah. But at least you
saw
had a little
firsthand.
insight
Oh,
as
yeah.
to what to expect.
It's like he gave me the blueprint, you know, to follow. There would be so many random things that, you know, he would discuss or talk about, and it's like, I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Just filling up my memory bank. I don't know this person or that person names that he's mentioning at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
He never brought anyone around me unless they were completely 1,000% certified.
Yeah.
And that's why
Round
some
table.
people to this day that did not personally meet me. Maybe you knew of me afterwards or met me afterwards, but you didn't bring you around me for a reason, and I respected that.
Yeah.
You know. But like we did, we have our own little round table, and some people, you know, feel some type of way about that, them not being involved or want to be relevant. But
Yeah.
what they need to understand is, like, this is the family that he created. You know, like, this is his sister, this is his brothers, this is his niece and his nephews, and I'm his wife.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to, you know, get the documentation, but we nearly got married in Vegas when I took him for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have. But we got news while being there, you know.
Yeah.
His nephew had got shot, and, you know, Dre means the world to both of us. So just seeing him hurt and the pain in his eyes, you know, which that's the picture, you know, that was on his obituary a lot of people were using, and I wish I would have saved that for myself, because those are my treasures.
Ask you this. You had this great love. You had this experience. He snatched from you. That had to be extremely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I want you to tell us briefly what happened to Lady Lavish in that process.
Lady Lavish basically died too. It's just, I mean, at that point, you know, Paris had her, you know, me, myself, and LaDom out for a little bit. It was like, I'm gonna let sis have a run, help push her, and then, you know, I did do a single to still stay in the mix, and, you know, linked with an incredible producer, Greedy Money, that's done Yo Gotti, Kevin Gates, you know, all these people. And we're getting ready to, like, shoot a video. Like, you know, it's big. Things is starting to pop. AR's in my inbox, you know, we got shows, you know, in and out of town, and that just, it destroyed me. Like, I was empty. You know, like, there was times where I was suicidal. There was times where, you know, I purposely didn't eat, didn't want to get out of my bed, didn't want to shower, and, you know, Tiff would come in and make sure, you know, and she was slick with it because she would cook my favorites and then go and get Baja. So it's like, I gotta eat the ribs and the chicken.
Yeah.
I got honey, 10 gram glaze on
Her
it.
food is so
It's
good.
so scrumptious. And then Baja, that's our drink. It was my favorite. So,
Yeah.
But I mean, I just, I didn't have it in me, and everything in the world just seemed so small. And I did do a show, like around in April, with Paris. We opened up for Trina, and we killed the show. You know, I got on stage, I was in my element, you know, we did our thing, but I did get to crying in the club because nobody has seen me since everything happened. I was under a shell. You know, I didn't go around anybody. I didn't go anywhere because we're still trying to piece together, you know, this is a close to home situation. Are we endangered? You know,
Right.
Is it cool?
Absolutely.
We need to be around. And, yeah, I got to crying in the club and having little baby panic attacks. Lady Lavish is Lady Lavish. I'm trying to keep my strut together.
Right.
And nobody around me knows that I'm having a whole panic attack and trying to take these little deep breaths and try not to pass out. And then after that, I was like, Paris, I can't do it. I'm not ready. I cannot be out here like that crying in the club.
Let me ask you, moving forward, do you see yourself returning to the stage?
I see that. Yep. I've had incredible support and people that's been rocking with me for years. I feel I owe them an explanation. I do, because I did just dip. No money on the nightstand. I just left. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I just think in the beginning, because Lady Lavish is, like I said, take charge and in demand of any and everything. She says, says what she means and means what she says, and that doesn't matter what your gender is. I'm gonna give it to you. Like, I rap with dudes, so females never been a problem. Yeah, never. Dudes, let's do it. Let's turn up. Might make you step up, But I felt censored because there were certain things that I was willing to speak on that I can't speak on because it's politicking going on in the streets.
I understand.
And then on the flip side of that as well, it's like me getting back to what I originally am and what I'm known for. And of course, I'm going to have to mention him. That's that final stage of acceptance. Yeah. And I wasn't ready to.
So as we bring this story to where we are presently and we begin to wrap it up, I see a change in you when it comes to women and their losses. And I'm so proud because I'm all about women's empowerment, go girl. Yeah. What have you been doing?
I mean, honestly, in the beginning, like, I didn't know what I was doing, didn't plan to do anything. I just had this urge, like, I'm supposed to do this, Gabby, that's my little baby, and I love her to death. That's the girlfriend of Drayshawn Reed that was murdered by the police. And, of course, such an injustice happening here in the city, like, yes, I'm going to show up there. Yes, I want to support. Yes, we need change and do whatever. And I met her that first night, when they were setting up the candle visual and all of that. And we just got to just talking. I was just listening. It's like I didn't know her from Adam. I didn't even know him, but it didn't matter. Right. He belonged to us. Absolutely. It's like, and what gives you the right? Yeah. When your job is to serve and protect. Right. And no. So, but, just gave her words of encouragement and then kind of just spoke about my situation because I didn't have that. I didn't have a playbook to go by. I didn't have someone who's been through it to kind of coach me along the way and what to expect, So I was like, I could do that. Yeah, for her. Absolutely. And now for my Ceci baby, rest in peace, Snoop. Talented rapper, on his way, beautiful kids, loving family, very big loving family, and him being taken, by senseless gun violence. And I was a little scared because I was like, ooh, this is really going to touch home. These are triggers, that I try to stay away from certain triggers, but I'm like, it's my Ceci. Like, that's my little sis. I got to. And I know his father really well, so it was helpful. I mean, it ended up being, helpful with me in my growth and healing, and then also them as well, because I felt like that in the beginning, like there's nobody really understands what I'm going through. Yeah, you can say, oh, I can't imagine, or this, and that, but to not actually know how that person feels and what those feelings are was a lot. So to be able to give that to them, we're extremely close now. Like, they're my little babies. They're so sweet. And I just want to help them, teach them what I've learned if they can avoid anything, because, sometimes, like, it can just happen. It just happened. Sorry. But it can happen at random times, and it literally can take your breath away. Yeah. Like you just experience it again for the first time, And
well, I want to say I'm so proud of you for speaking out and speaking up and telling your story and giving us that, because you were everywhere. And when a person disappears, sometimes people don't understand. We may be bad, honey, but we're still people.
Yeah.
And so when things happen, the human side of us comes up, and sometimes it just keeps us in. I've experienced that, and I understand it. And I'm so happy that you are giving this knowledge and this experience to someone else, because you can definitely impact them and help them. And you said thank you for being there for you. It was my honor to do so, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I want to thank you so much for having the conversation with me today and expressing yourself. This was major. Everybody can't do it, and you broke your silence.
I did. It was time. I'm getting closer, those 5 stages of grief. I've been a kangaroo bouncing from one to the next. Sometimes in the same day, sometimes within 20 minutes of each other. But I'm right there on the cusp of that final stage of acceptance, And when it's fully there is when I step back in that booth. So,
well,
I appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to the first episode. I had to share it with my sister.
Yes.
This is The Conversation. I am Miss Moi. Stay tuned.